Delusional Reddit mod just destroyed his life.
I have never seen a stereotype.
We know who this is, by the way. The guy that Critical did a video on like a month ago, but apparently he's still coping.
More true in my life. This guy's entire life revolves around being a Reddit mod, and he is doing his absolute best to destroy it. Because just within the span of a few weeks, this former Reddit mod went from getting...
Is that his actual... There's no way that's his actual account. Dude, he used like AI art of himself.
Kicked off his own community to, I guess, making phone calls to the U.S.
That has to be like a parody account.
Congress, like he's uncovering some sort of like online conspiracy. And somehow this wasn't even a melt.
He needs to start mewing immediately.
Congress, like he's uncovering some sort of like...
That's rough.
Online conspiracy. And somehow this wasn't even a meltdown in his head. This was his mission to make people see what only he could...
Professional Reddit janitor. Yeah. I know.
See.
Having that in your bio, yikes.
Hello, Spez, Mr. CEO of Reddit. I hope you have received this public video that I have created and sent to you via your email.
Wasn't this guy a mod on LSF as well? Live stream fails?
This video is about a topic of deadly seriousness. I was the top moderator of your #1 gaming subreddit, r/livestreamfail, before I was recently...
Does he use face filters? It is almost like he's used like AI upscaling or like sharpness on his face. It's really bizarre.
Recently removed from that position by the Reddit Code of Conduct team.
So, if you spent any time watching live streams on whatever platform, chances are you've already came across the subreddit called r/livestreamfail. Usually, it just goes by LSF.
I love LSF. They absolutely despise everyone. It's insane. Unless you're Forzen or Northern Lion.
LSF. It's been around for years and has grown into this kind of like main hub on...
It's actually crazy what's happening with LSF at the minute. Like, I've seen that subreddit has become so dry that people are posting fails from like 3 years ago.
Reddit for everything related to streaming. For
Northern Lions based. No, he's great. But yeah, no, LSF, I've noticed they just post like old clips from 3 years ago. And then people in the comments will be like, why are you posting something from 3 years ago? And then they'll say, well, all they're talking about at the minute is like Aiden Ross and Kick.
For example, when something goes down on a stream, like a ban, a fight, a meltdown, LSF is usually where it surfaces first and where it gets amplified and then, you know, spread on Twitter and then YouTube videos and so on and so on. So naturally, the people overseeing this, and especially the head moderator, ends up with a decent amount of influence, you know, since they're not just removing spam or enforcing the basic rules, but they're also in a position to somehow kind of like shape what people end up seeing, what gains traction, and what quietly disappears before most people even notice it was posted. And that person, since late 2024, was a guy who goes by Stale2000, whose real name is Brian, but I guess he also has a secondary account called Tarot Card, which, you know, we haven't covered anything here recently that ended badly that was in relation to tarot cards. Absolutely not. But it's safe to say this guy's run as a mod here has been quite controversial way before any of this happened. Because right when he got his position as head moderator back in September 2024, several other mods went public almost immediately, and they asked the community to move to a backup subreddit and accused Stale of refusing to step down after the whole team voted to remove him, essentially citing what they described as a pattern of power abuse. So when you're accused of power abuse, what do? Well, apparently his response was to kick the entire team and replace them with his own people. Bro, that's like straight...
That's normal.
...out of the dictator handbook. And even a detailed document outlining his conduct was sent to Reddit's admins, though publicly, nothing really came of it. Like, it didn't really take off and Stale stayed in place. Nowadays, there are two different subreddits running. Livestream Fail, which is, I guess, the original one, and then Livestream Fails,
Oh, I didn't even know that.
with an S that never really managed to succeed. Then March 2025 rolls around and a new mod team comes in. And this one, you know, the one he assembled after the first purge, I guess you could call it, they essentially start having the same issues with him. But this time, things got a lot more heated because the new team found evidence that one of the moderators that Stale had added, I guess someone who was described as a power mod because he was running like 200 subreddits at the same time, he had some very bad and inappropriate interactions with under 18s, allegedly. You know, I'm just trying to tiptoe around this without getting the video smited. That's at least my understanding of what happened. But when they brought it to Stale, according to their account, he sat on it and did nothing. And I guess when they pressed him on why, he admitted that at least part of the reason was he was worried that if he removed this guy, it might put his own standing at risk. Apparently, this guy's priorities are completely mixed up. But the moderators eventually approached the power mod directly and got him to step down voluntarily. Stale, however, responded by...
Yeah, I feel like whenever they reach out and it's like, they got them to step down. It's like, we've ended our partnership with this person. It's like, nah, it's definitely like, you step down now, and then you just say that you did it, and you look better for it, or we're just going to come out with everything.
Thanking him on the way out, and then firing the mod team for making a fuss about the whole thing. Excuse me, what? Yeah, that's just not someone you want on your moderating team. What do you mean, making a fuss about it? So essentially, you have two complete separate groups of moderators who rallied against Scale, who now had the same fate. They just got deleted from the server because they had problems with them. So now we fast forward until early January 2026, and a new project starts, I guess, making noise online. And this is called $1 Million Fan. The
$20 million grand prize.
idea is pretty simple. A bunch of content creators and their fans would compete head-to-head in a...
Okay, Mia for the 5. 2,500 euros, one-time only payment, but every day someone makes you how in Romanian really fast. What is how in Romanian?
luxury mansion in Canada with an absolute enormous prize pool of $20 million. It was supposed to be developed for Prime Video with, filming planned for November of 2026. And for scale, I mean, Mr. Beast's game show, which has also been produced and distributed by Prime, had a smaller prize. So right away, the numbers alone are massive. And a handful of streamers got behind it publicly.
Gumdrop, S-Fand is based. Alexandra Botes. Okay, those two are like the chess sisters. Knut or Nut. Extra Emily. Extra Emily is like somehow involved in everything. Gumdrop, not sure who that is. Yvonne, not sure who that is.
And on the top of r/livestream fail, a pin post appeared promoting it. And this was put there by Scale himself. And he said later that he'd reached out to the show's organizers on his own because he personally thought the project was interesting and wanted LSF to be a part of it, but still assured he wasn't paid to promote it. However, given the scale of the project, it was never going to stay contained to LSF. So once the pin post went up, $1 Million fans started drawing attention outside of the subreddit. And when the broader internet caught wind of it, they began digging. And what they found was definitely not reassuring, to put it lightly, because the front page of their website contained a mansion photo that was an AI
I was going to say, it does look very AI.
generated
It doesn't look real.
stock image. The company behind the show had been incorporated through one of the cheapest registration services in British Columbia, and the listed address was right beside a falafel shop. So it just didn't make sense. Then on top of that, the domain itself was registered in Iceland. And then suddenly, other things started to change. The price amount had apparently shifted at some point. The main website said
How in Romanian is come.
but now suddenly it was $10 million. There was just a lot of things that didn't line up here. But an interesting find here was the fine
Dude, that is a terrible proposition, man. You got to try harder than that. 2,500 euros?
print, because a section of the official rules appeared to have just been copy pasted from Omaze, which used to be like this celebrity sweepstakes company that did like a whole bunch of like Lambo giveaways, and they just gave away everything. So it's like, why is this copy pasted from Omaze? And that company was shut down, by the way, for a whole bunch of lawsuits. But the Culver City PO box used for copyright claims was the same one Omaze had listed. And the company's name in the document was written as $1 Million Fan Reality Show Incorporate. Actually, there was two incorporates. $1 Million Fan Reality Show 1 Incorporate. What? And then you had one section which just seemed like ChatGPT was drafting notes, which also included some like weird note to how
That's a month's salary in Romania. No, that's a generational salary.
to frame payment language and
Oh my God, this cope of you'd barely feel it.
dispute with credit card processors. So it's like, what is this website? What's going on here? Whatever it is, it was very sloppy. Well, we're using this comment for reference because that original website is no longer up. But the only sponsors anyone could identify were a handful of affiliate links, a supplement brand, and
IRL buffs, gaming vitamins. Gaming vitamins, bro.
LSF itself. So that's interesting. But nobody could track down who was behind the whole thing or where the $20 million were actually coming from. So naturally, people started saying that this looked like a scam. And on Reddit, Stale started deleting those comments. So then on January 13th, the $1 Million Fan website went offline without any warning or explanation. Within the same few days though, every social media account associated with the project was either deleted or wiped clean. And at that point, Critical had already put out a video before the shutdown, calling the show suspicious and walking through the red flags. But once the site disappeared, he followed up, pointing out that everything about the collapse was consistent with what he described.
And it pertains to last night's video about the $20 million reality TV show called The $1 Million Fan Show. I speculated that it was a big scam, and a lot of Twitch streamers had been publicly put on the website. Some had even made announcements about their endorsement of the $1 Million Fan Show, and nothing about it seemed legitimate. But last night on stream, like 45 minutes after I posted the video, they took their website down. Then I was checking their other ancillary and all of that is removed.
Then back on Reddit, the conversation had shifted almost entirely from the show to the mod who pinned it. So people were formally reporting Stale to Reddit's admin team, asking whether he had been compensated and arguing that using a...
What is that he's got in the background there? What is that? Does anyone see that? That was like the J Station sarcophagus. Don't know why I remember this. J Station, when he did a response, he just had a huge Egyptian sarcophagus behind him.
I never wanted to make a video like this. Ever.
I always thought he looked like Lucas Baker from Resident Evil. He looked like I made this joke before. He looks the he somehow does look like J Station, right? How does no one see that? That's insane. It is actually 1-to-1. He's even got the same facial hair as well. Bruh. That's crazy. I remember making that comparison like 6-7 years ago. Okay.
Moderator position to promote an outside project.
All right, not funny. Lock in.
Was a direct violation of Reddit's rules. So 2 days later, Reddit's code of conduct team concluded the investigation and removed Stale from the LSF mod team. And this wasn't only his main account, this was also his secondary account, which was Tarot Card, and apparently had a third account called the Positivity Patrol as well. All of them were removed. So I guess just after a year, his run on Livestream Fail was completely done. Now, this is where...
You know, when I said 6-7, that was not meant to be a joke. I literally meant like 6 to 7 years ago. It's such a convenient passage of time to say.
Where things start going downhill. Because on the same day he was removed, he uploaded a video to YouTube addressing Reddit's CEO, Steve Huffman, also known as Spez. And he, it's safe to say he went viral, to put it lightly. For all the...
Thank you, Mia, for the 5. All jokes aside, Pyro, you honestly made me question my sexuality as a man, but as a cope, I barely think about it. Hey, bro, it's current year. Be whatever you want.
Wrong reasons. This is a crazy video.
Hello, Spez. I hope you have received this public video that I have created and sent to you via your email.
He actually lip mogs me. I've got like no lips, man. He is absolutely mogging me with those plush, plump lips.
This video is about a topic of deadly seriousness, and that is...
I'm amazed he didn't just shave it off. Like, that's the biggest cope I think I've seen here. I don't know how he didn't just shave that off at the top.
...is of Reddit moderation and the state of your platform. I became a Reddit moderator for one reason.
Skin too, I can't even lie.
And that is because
all right, go fuck him then.
I think that Reddit communities and correspondingly its moderators have massive power and influence, and for some reason, nobody seems to notice, care, or take this seriously. To summarize, Reddit moderators should be treated like celebrities or influencers, not because they deserve respect or anything, but because they actually have real power and influence.
Again, I have...
Was he quoting someone, or is that actually what he said? Surely he was quoting someone.
Should be treated like care or take this seriously. To summarize, Reddit moderators should be treated like celebrities or influencers.
Is that actually what he said? I feel like he's quoting someone. That, if he's not quoting someone, that is really embarrassing for him.
Not because they deserve respect or anything, but because they actually have real
His lips are so glossy. No, I know. He's got a really good skincare routine.
power and influence.
Again, I have never seen a stereotype more true than this. But for some reason, you also do... Again, I have never...
His eyes are soulless.
But because they...
I'm going to be honest here. You know what I think? Because he's a Reddit mod, he'd be a bit tech savvy. I think he's using that... His eyes look like they're lower quality. Does anyone notice that? Okay, I'm massively overanalyzing here. I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if he's reading a script and he's got that NVIDIA, you know that NVIDIA plugin that they were talking about, that during meetings it would use AI to make it look like your eyes are looking at the camera the entire time? Because there's something really off about his eyes. They look Even the gloss on his... Damn, he's got a really good routine. He's got to share it with me. But yeah, I don't know. It looks... His eyes are like a lower quality than the rest of the face. It doesn't...
Should be treated like celebrities or influencers.
I'm probably just like over analyzing it a bit, but it's like his eyes are kind of it looks like his eyes are shaking, not the pupils, but just the entire eye.
Celebrities or influencers, not because they
I don't know. He's probably just got an auto prompt behind the camera, to be fair, teleprompter.
deserve respect or anything, but because they actually have real power and influence.
Again, I have never seen a
Pyrocynical lip mogged by Reddit you frat moderator. That is a wow.
stereotype more true than this. But for some reason, he also defended $1 Million Fan, saying there was no definitive evidence that it was a scam. And he took a direct shot at Critical for what he felt was irresponsible coverage. And after that, Stale and Critical had this like small back and forth with a couple of response videos. And it was one of those follow-ups that Stale actually made an argument that was slightly more interesting than his original one. Because here he pointed out that he'd been able to run livestream fail for over a year with what he described as near dictatorial control. And for the most part, nobody above him stepped in. And that's not a small admission because, you know, what he essentially was arguing was, if I had all of this unchecked power, imagine who else does.
If we're worried about bias, I can promise
Why is he irradiating now? Who get like what? Dude, take like a rat away or something. Jesus Christ, look at that.
you that there are way bigger
Dude, go see the doctor in like Megaton or something. Oh my god.
fish to fry that I'm not sure that
Dude, stop drinking irradiated water.
brand deals for community
It's not a good way to get health back.
events is really the biggest danger out there.
There are no qualifications to be a Reddit mod.
You're right. Maybe because there are no such
Reddit stench aura.
qualifications. This is why we're seeing all the problems that we see. Reddit is a $50 billion company that moderators have power over. Maybe not as much power as an overly invested, egotistical power mod as myself might like to believe, but power nonetheless. And most Reddit moderators are completely unqualified, biased, power hungry, and are doing a bad job. And Reddit isn't doing anything to fix it. Maybe it should.
But I guess what he didn't understand was that's what all of the mods previously were accusing him of doing. So it's kind
Yeah, I got to agree with him, man. I'm sorry. Like the skin routine is there.
of like, okay, you
He is ascending. He is ascending.
just proved their point, dude. And to be fair, I mean, Reddit has had recurring issues with moderator overreach for years now. For example, just a couple of months before this whole situation, a single mod on the r/art subreddit locked the entire community after an artist posted about selling their own prints. And apparently they only reopened the subreddit after Reddit staff stepped in. So even though some of the points Dale was making could be true, I'm not sure he's the right messenger. And that's when he made
It genuinely is very easy for moderators to just get such a power trip, though. It's insane. Like, I've got a very good mod team, but I've seen moderators for other communities and stuff in the past, and it's like, you give someone that doesn't have a lot going on in their life a little bit of power, and it genuinely can just go to their head. It's insane. They immediately go to, like, Oswald Green Goblin from, like, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man.
things even worse because he decided to call Congress. Like, literally. Dude, what are they gonna do? What? I guess the second he realized there was some sort of backlash and the videos maybe weren't landing the way he probably expected, he uploaded a video talking about the 4 levels of irony, which...
The 4 levels of irony. Why does he... Bro, he looks like one of the Animorph memes. Isn't there an Asmongold Animorph? Yep. Yep. There it is. Just turns into a cockroach. I never read Animorphs as a kid. I read Goosebumps, though.
Sounds a little bit like a pivot to me, but, you know, then a month later, he starts calling Congress. Again, what are they going to do? You are a Reddit mod. I mean, ex-Reddit mod. What does Congress have anything to do with a Reddit mod? Like, if you want to be a Reddit mod so bad, just make your own subreddit. But in February, almost a whole month after this video, Stale started posting a series of videos making phone calls to government officials. Now, to understand why that even happened, back in November, executives from Reddit, Twitch, Discord, and Steam had been called on the front of the House Oversight Committee for a closed-door session about extremist content on their platforms. Those sessions were transcribed, and the transcripts are supposed to be released to the public at some point.
His YouTube bio says parody, by the way. I still cannot tell if he's serious or not. It's probably like... He's probably being half serious, and then if he overreaches or he says something cringe, he can just claim irony. That's a pretty common thing to do.
point. So Stale had decided to try to make that happen by himself.
Let's make the call.
The House Committee on Oversight.
Dude, it's over. Like, I mean this with the utmost respect. It's over. Like, please do something about it. Like, dude, wear a cap. Just do like the Chad embrace, and just, you know, keep growing it out so it becomes some weird kind of like mullet. But like, this cannot continue. This is like KLPG SpongeBob hair. No, I think KLPG actually has a better hairline. Like, he could save it. He honestly, giving him some genuine advice, he could, if he went KLPG, he could save it. There is a chance the hairline could be salvaged, but at the minute, it's looking like it's over.
Government.
Hi, I'm calling about.
Thank you, Dayan, for the 2. Homer Simpson hairline. Nah, it's not as bad as Homer. I'll give him that. It's not. Homer Simpson has like 4 lines of hair on his head. Nah, it's not. It's definitely not. It's not getting this bad. Unironically, the Homer Simpson hairline is kind of better because he just embraced it and he went bald. This is a mix in between. Get him to Turkey right now.
Back about getting some transcripts for an unreleased kind of event that happened. There was meetings with companies like Twitch and
Keeping him on screen so yours looks better. Good tactic. Yeah, time that guy out. Oh wait, that's one of the mods. All right, time yourself out.
Discord. And were these ever released? This is about a couple months ago. Somebody told me to call back today.
So apparently, after being removed from the subreddit, he convinced himself that the closed-door meeting transcripts might contain something significant, possibly discussions about the platform moderation that hadn't been made public yet. So he started treating them less like common government records and more like hidden evidence to help him make a case for himself.
Please.
Somehow. Like, it just doesn't make sense. I don't understand his mission. But he called for 3 consecutive days, working his way through different staffers and officials each time, asking them to release what he was calling the Twitch and Reddit files. And at least by the 3rd day,
The Reddit files.
someone told him the committee was aware of his request and we're looking into it.
Hi, I'm calling back to see
Wait,
about.
go back to the side
And the
profile.
committee was aware of his request and we're looking into it.
Hi,
Jarvis, pull up the Norwood scale. Right, what are we looking at here, boys? What are we looking at? We are probably I would say we are actually looking at a 4. It could be a 5. We could be looking at a 5 here. But no, on the crown the hair still seems strong. I would say a 6 with the characteristics of a 4. We're basically looking at the evolution of a 4 to a 5 here in real time.
I'm calling back to see about an update of something that I called about previously. Some meetings with internet companies like Twitch and Reddit, and I think people forgot to release the transcripts.
I believe you talked about the staffer Peter.
Yep.
I believe, and we got back with the team, and they're currently they are aware of that. So that's the update I have for you now, but they are aware.
Okay. Okay, so they are aware. Were they, just to ask, did they forget before, or like, was it just like in the works, or is they just working on it?
It's just in there. I don't have an answer for you, but they are aware.
Awesome.
So apparently contacting the government is pretty common, but in this context, it just made it kind of funny. So in the end, Stale's situation turned out to be multiple stories, which kind of overlap that I wanted to cover.
You got the casting couch in the background.
Stale's situation turned out to be multiple stories, which kind of overlap that I wanted to cover. You obviously have the $1 million fan side, which does
Yeah, that's pretty rough. Actual certified Reddit moment.